And it's funny, Dr. Tara and I were actually at Palmer together and graduated. She was a class or two ahead of me. And so we were kind of cut from the same cloth from that standpoint from school. And I know a lot listening have gone to a lot of different schools, but we were Palmer proud, I guess.
Don't hold it against us.
That's right. So I thought, what would chiropractors, young chiropractors, I mean, both you and I, after starting our offices, had a passion for helping other chiropractors get into practice. Because one thing, and I'll give a little bit of maybe history about where I come from, and is my wife and I are both chiropractors. We met at school. We did those, 2 of the 3 things you do at chiropractic college. I don't know if y'all remember this, but they say you're either going to get married, divorce, or have a baby. Well, we did 2 of the 3 of those things in the right order too. So we graduated with a 6-month-old and student loans and a whole lot of enthusiasm to go out there and start practice, like I'm sure a lot of those listening and watching did as well. So. But we found out very quickly that opening a practice was a whole lot. It took a whole lot more than we thought. We interned at a great office, both of us. I don't know if you remember Dr. Burns from Palmer.
Absolutely.
Yep. Becky interned at his office. I interned at another office there in the Quad Cities. Just trying to get experience in chiropractic and just thirsty for that, and got into some great offices and got a lot and thought we knew what we were doing. And maybe that was the arrogance of that time in my life.
Did we go to the same school?
I think so. But it's funny, I knew everything coming out of chiropractic school, and I think 20 years later I know less and less and less every day I move along about life. But our experience was we figured out real quick in about 3 or 4 months. We had no idea how to get this chiropractic thing off the ground. Even with great mentors and great experience, it was a whole different animal. I don't know about you, Dr. Tara, what your experience was, but ours was, we got to a point where my wife and I looked at each other and we said, how are we going to make this happen?
So what was it that made you, what were the things you were struggling with that got you to the point where, at least from what I remember the story, it was your wife, Becky, who said, we're not doing this on our own. We've got to get some help. What were the things that were causing her to pause and say, hey, we need help?
Well, number 1, we were living with my parents.
It was a large pause.
Number 2, we were living with my parents. Number 3, we were living with, it was just true. We were motivated, and my parents are awesome.
Yeah,
they were
sure
fantastic. And funny thing is our producer here today is my son, who graduated with us as a 6-month-old and helped start our practice. I don't know how helpful he was, but he's pretty helpful right today. So, but what were the things that caused? It was just a lot. It was everything. Right? If anybody that's watching this has ever opened a practice, you know what I'm talking about. It is the whole, you got to get equipment, which again, common sense tells you need a place to practice. You need to have equipment to practice with, diagnostics and all that side of it. But then it was, how are we actually going to get people through the door? Right? That realization going, maybe what they told us in school that you just open up and they're going to flock in,
right.
Maybe it doesn't happen that way. And because I had some other docs that I knew that it didn't happen that way, right. And they were struggling. So it was one of those things going, we're probably going to get one shot at doing this. And so that's where my wife said, hey, number 1, we got to get out of your parents' house. And number 2, we need this thing to get off the ground quickly on the front end. So I think that was a motivator for us to find some help. And if I'm ever talking to students, I have a list of the top 10 things I wish I would have known.
Right.
And one on that list is, there's people out there that want to help you. There's mentors that want to come beside you. There's actually good chiropractors out there that really want to see chiropractic and young chiropractors successful. But flip side, there's also the other side of our profession, which I don't know if it's still a terminology, but coming through is always like chiropractors eat their young, they don't treat them very well. And I think that still a lot happens in associate positions and things like that. Well,
now you're going to start talking about that side of things, and you get into my experience with getting out of chiropractic school. That's what
you had two experiences, which is interesting.
I did. The tale of two associateships, right?
That's right.
They were completely opposite, totally polar. And, you know, if I hadn't had the first experience, which is actually where I learned about Aligned, I might have been one of those people who loved chiropractic, but said, yeah, I'm not really sure that this is for me. Because the second associateship that I had after the first one, where everything ran like a well-oiled machine, patients were excited to be there, they referred, they paid, they got amazing results. I had the exact opposite experience at my next associateship, which should have been chiropractors that I can trust, It was my field doctor, the people that were my chiropractors. And what happened is, within 2 months of starting that associateship, I'd built the practice to 150 patient visits a week, but my paychecks were bouncing every 2 weeks, which is pretty stressful whenever it's weird, but the government wants their money back after you get out of school. Those student loans, they expect to be paid.
Pesky student loans.
And those bills didn't quit coming the paychecks bounced.
There was no, what do they call that nowadays? Income-based repayments. That didn't exist.
No.
We're gonna date ourselves on this,
right?
On
And
this
neither did forgiveness, right? There was no forgiveness of those loans.
That's right.
You were on your own. So, but luckily, like I said, I'd had that first experience where I'd seen Aligned, and I thank God I knew where to turn, where chiropractors did care about other chiropractors and did care about their success, and where success was real. Or, like I said, if I thought that was the way my future was going to be, I'm not sure I would have kept at it, even as much as I love chiropractic.